Hey, welcome back everybody. Today we are going to be doing, well, the muzzle brake. So I've got the barrel here, the preferred barrel blank that we threaded this, chambered it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the muzzle brake on here. So first thing I need to do is I need to come back about a ½ inch on this barrel. I need to shear that off. So that's the first step. Second step is we're going to come back another just over ½ inch. I'll show you all the measurements when we get to the lathe here. Come back, cut that 10 in, get it threaded, cut a relief for our thread to fade off into. You'll see all this here in just a minute, but the muzzle brake, if you missed it on the last one, that we're going to go with here is the recoil control innovations that they sent me so kindly. I appreciate that, guys. Thanks so much. Self-timing style, which is pretty sweet, and I like these. I do like these. They do work quite well. I've got another one on another rifle that you saw probably a year and a half ago or more on, well, more than a year and a half ago on another video. So anyways, additionally, once we shear this, cut the 10 in, thread it, all that stuff, it also has to be crowned and cleaned up there so that we don't have we want a real nice clean exit. And I cut an 11-degree crown on that, going in to the barrel here. So 11 degrees on that, crown it, clean it, make sure we have a real nice exit for the projectile coming out so that we don't get a bunch of flyers and things like that. So, the first thing we have to do is get this thing chalked up in the lathe. I'll give you just a brief example of it. I'm getting faster at these as time goes on, but it's time consuming to set these up. So a little tweak here and it can throw it way out, and then you go back and tweak the other side. Anyways, you'll see. Let's get busy. It'll be fun. And okay, so we've got our brake here, and the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that this is 5/8 24 thread pitch, but I want to verify it. So I'm going to take this here, just come inside. I can see it. You can't. Probably pretty shadowy for you, but it is indeed 5/8 24. I would hate to start threading this thing and find out something's goofy. So we'll put that back on there. Next, I got to mark some stuff off here. So I'm going to come in a ½ inch. I'm just going to put a mark on here at a ½ inch. Then I'm going to go to a full inch. I'm actually going to go with 1 1/4 inches. Give myself just a little breathing room. And this will be my tenon from this mark to this mark. And this is the section here that I'm shearing off. This will be no good. We're going to get rid of this piece right here on the end. So this will be the tenon. The thread, the relief here will be about here. The shoulder will be right there. This will be the tenon with the threads. This will be crowned in right here at 11 degrees. It'll all come together here. Once we get this on the lathe, then I'll start showing you a little bit more up close on how this works, and then the brake will actually end up riding right here like so. Okay, let's get this chucked up in the lathe, and we'll go through that little process there of dialing this in to the nearest 1/10,000th as we possibly can. Okay, so I've got an indicating rod here, and what I did is I took the pilot off of the reamer, and I put the same pilot bushing here, the live pilot bushing, on the indicating rod. So that's just going to slide in there. This is not tightened down at all. Things are quite loose. But all I'm going to do is just spin this, and this thing is, there's our low spot, there's our high spot. So I'm going to come back to my low spot, back the jaw off a little bit, spin it 180, tighten that back down, and I'm just going to kind of keep roughing this in, finding the highs and the lows, loosen the low, tighten the high. until this thing, just by eyeballing it, looks pretty good. Once it does, then I'm going to start putting the indicators on here and working through that. So let me keep going with this here, and we'll get this dialed in a little bit tighter. Okay, so I've got the dial indicator on here now. This is a 1/10,000ths, and I've got this running about 3/4 of a thousandths right now. So what I want to do, okay, so here's my low side right here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen that, come over here to the high side, and tighten that. See where I'm at here. So there's the low, there's the high. It's getting really close. Okay, there's my low. I'm just going to crack it loose, snug it back up, spin this around to my high side, which is right here. There's the high. I'm just going to bump this down a little tighter here. Ooh, boy, that's dead on right there. But now I'm going to back this gauge down a little ways, a couple inches, spin it again. That's not so pretty. That's because the other end here isn't lined up either. So we can just come, let's see, right there. Now on the back side, what I can do is I can start moving this back side around here. See how that changes? Snug that back up. Let's see what that looks like. So we're making some improvements there. There's our side right there. So we'll start making some adjustments here on the back side. Right there. Now we're about 1.5 1/10,000ths. So stop right there. Make another little tiny adjustment back here. Let's try to split that difference right there. Okay, even that right there is perfectly acceptable. Remember, this is 1/10,000. So then I'm going to wheel this back in, get it right close to the muzzle there, and notice this is off. So there's our low right there. So I'm just going to loosen this up just a smidge, tighten it back down. There's our high side, snug the high side down. That right there is more than acceptable. It's more than what most people do actually when you want to just cut the cut a 10 and do some threading work. So that is perfect. I'm going to pull this off here. We're going to shear this thing. Okay, so you can see here, I've just touched off on that 1/2 inch mark. And all we're going to do is take some good cutting oil, and we're just going to slowly work this and just part this end off. Shear it, part it, whatever you want to call it. But we're getting rid of this last 1/2 inch because as they're tooling these things, or pulling the tooling through for the threads in here, what happens is as that comes out of the end of the barrel, it often is not perfect. In fact, it never is. So what we want to do is get back in here a little ways where that threading or the rifling is really good, in good shape, and part this off, and then we'll crown it and do a bunch of other stuff. But anyways, let's get this thing, let's go ahead and get this thing parted. So we'll grab our cutting oil, put a little good quality cutting oil on here, fire this up. And just like that, you have a new paperweight. So the reason I was saying earlier we have to crown this. See that little piece of metal right there? A little piece of metal sticking in right there. That is part of the problem. Anytime you shear off any barrel at all, you're going to get a real nasty edge into the lands and grooves right here. So we're going to have to clean all this up. I'm not going to worry about cleaning this up until I get my tenon cut. Once I get the tenon cut here, Then we'll come back and crown this and thread it. We'll do all that stuff here, but I'm not worried about that until that's kind of the last step for me. So, all right, let's get our tenon cut down to 0.632. All right, so here we go. Got this tenon cut here, and I am right there, right where I want it. So we're going to come in here and cut a relief, and then we're going to thread this. So, well, let's get to that. All right, so we put our parting tool back in here, and what we're going to do is cut a relief in here. So when we thread this, the threads can fall off into sort of a void, I guess, if you will. So let's fire this up and do that. All right, we've got the tenon cut here. We've got the relief in here. This shoulder right here is all squared up. Now, what we want to do is thread this thing. So let's get some Dicom on there. All right, so we took our little scratch pass there, not really getting into the metal, just basically digging into the die there. We're spot on. Yep, we're good to go. Okay, so now I'm going to start working the threads down, and we'll get going from there. Okay, so we've got this on here now, and that's a real nice tight fit. There's no slop in there at all. So we can time this thing simply by moving this collar on here. And that'll time us in different spots. But nonetheless, it's a really good snug fit. Nice clean finish there. Next, we got to create a crown right here. So let's get a crown in there. All right, we've got this pulled back out of the lathe now, and everything turned out really nice. Very happy with this. So the muzzle brake fits perfectly. It's nice, snug, not too tight, certainly not loose. And the way that this is going to time up is just going to be, it's going to be just perfect, I think. So I'm going to leave a link below to the Recoil Control Innovations RCI. And if anybody's interested in picking one of these up, contact them, let them know that you heard about it on this video from me, and that would be much appreciated. So, well, this the barrel's done. I do need to clean it real quick. I gotta, just run some patches down there, make sure that I don't have any metal shavings, additional oils, things like that inside the barrel. But that turned out, well, I'm happy with it. So next, we're going to, we're going to get the action all put together with the new barrel on it. Then it's on glass bedding. One other thing here real quick. So I've been working with this stuff here. This is called Gun Armor Buttercream, gun butter, if you will, made by Yorks. And I've been putting this on my shotguns, going out duck hunting, just on the outside. This is nothing for internal, but this stuff is working really good for me. I think I'm going to see how well this works for the release agent when I rebed this stock. So that'll be kind of interesting to see how this works. But other than that, this is good stuff. I do like this Yorks wax here. I'll leave a link below for Yorks wax, so you can order some of the stuff if you want. But it's just pure carnauba. We'll have a little separate video on this and some of the uses I've been finding for it. But they sent this to me, but I do like it. It's good stuff. So, anyways, on to the next portion of this little project here, getting everything put back together so we can get this thing bedded. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I guess we'll see you in about a week. Later.